Welcome, guys. Welcome back to episode
11
of While You're Loading. Charles, Jenna, Brandon, and Zach. And today we are going to start off with a review of Inside, which we did a Let's Play on a few weeks ago.
Go watch it.
11 from Stranger Things.
Huh?
I haven't seen that yet, actually.
Oh, really?
It's a
Well,
good
it's
show.
11.
It's cool.
It's cool.
Dope. It's super dope.
I said
All right.
she was. Okay.
So, Inside.
Inside.
What are you guys' overall thoughts about the game? Having finished it, having played it. We spent a lot of time playing the game, too.
I should be the one asking that question.
Yeah,
You
really.
should be.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone who suggested
How was
it.
it watching it for the second time?
Yeah, that's...
It was entertaining as fuck.
I bet you it was.
Why? Because you kept telling us the wrong information.
Yeah, Brandon
I was
listened
an
to
asshole.
it.
Well, I listened to it.
Oh, you could
once.
jump off that edge and see. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I went back and watched
And the fact that you almost went for it.
You know that? There were some parts where it's like I could hear you like making noises going back and watching it, just like, oh, they're gonna fucking die. Oh, thanks, Zach. I didn't hear that.
It was a lot of fun for me to edit.
Yeah,
like
but-
going back through and just watching everything, because then like I'm the one that posted everything too. So I'm saying like, what kind of like they're playing, but like I'm not playing a game. So what am I doing?
Yeah.
And it's just like making them wonder why they brought me along in the first place. But yeah, so what did you guys think of it? Because I know I've already gone over what I said when we first started playing the game. That I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And it was a game that made me kind of think about the game for a little while after I beat it.
Mhm.
So what do you guys think?
It's kind of how I feel. It's just I'm still trying to figure out what the hell was going on, and like a lot of my questions come going back and watching the last part that we put up where he initially goes into the tube and the people are like watching.
Oh yeah, when
Like-
he goes inside the
Like
actual...
the whole like that whole sequence of him like walking past them and them not caring and just looking at the blob that's in the machine.
It's
Like-
it's a weird contrast of what happens earlier on in the game itself too,
Yeah.
because these people don't care about you, but everybody else before just fucking wanted to kill you the entire time.
they go from wanting to kill you, chasing you down, then to like being completely uninterested in you altogether. So that's what I was like. And I'm wondering, like going back and thinking about it, like when like that weird mermaid thing takes you, if that was a transition in the game where maybe something physically changed on you, which took it like made it so that way they didn't care about you as much anymore.
I
If
see,
that makes sense.
yeah.
Because I noticed after that sequence of the game, like they really weren't chasing you like that anymore.
There wasn't a whole lot of opportunities until you see all these like
Yeah.
business type people
Yeah.
that were
Yeah, and it's like
running
this-
to see this
this
fucking weird
office
blob
setting.
thing. Yeah.
And then like just looking at the overall landscape, it doesn't look like it's like I thought maybe this is set in like the 70s. I'm like, no, but then stuff looks futuristic, so I think it's probably set further ahead. So then I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is set really far ahead, and this is just like a post-apocalyptic type of game.
Yeah.
Well, what if they're working on, at the end with the business people, like, what if they're working on something with this big blob that has this mind of its own? And the experiment was for the boy who was a part of that blob to see if he could come back. And they wanted to see if it could escape, if it was smart enough. That's why they didn't hurt it. They're like, they know its power is here. Let me help you. Like, let me get out of your way.
Kind of like
And
something's
then-
been watching them the entire time.
Yeah, so they've known that it's been there. They've had these big TVs. They've been seeing this thing happen, and that's why everyone's already gathered around it because they're waiting for him to come
Just
into
come
the
in there.
thing. And the reason why people outside in the this is just theory. The people out in the beginning in the front were trying to shoot him because they were trying to stop that from happening. Like they didn't know who that was. Like if it was some kind of post apocalyptic. Wow, I just fucked up that word.
I can never say that. I get it out once, one good time.
Post a crop of flick.
A prop for that.
Anyway, if it's that type of world, like maybe they're trying to. They think there's something wrong with him. They're like they don't know that he's part of an experiment, so they want to kill him and hurt him or something. I mean, I don't know.
I think that's totally a possibility simply from the fact that once you get to the office setting area of the game, once you become part of the blob, they help you. Like they come over here, we'll open this shit, throw this to me, I'll help you get through there, I'll open this door. It's like
weird because then I'm
it's
thinking
really weird.
Yeah, because like the whole like my thought process with that was like, okay, well, inevitably he's going to get someplace to where like they will be able to experiment on him or something like that, but he gets out. Like,
Yeah.
he gets out. Yeah,
Or does he? I mean,
say doesn't.
yeah.
We don't
It's
really
like he
know.
almost he's smart enough than the other one, so he has some kind of mind of his own, but really it feels like he's controlled.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Well, that's the second one of the other theories that's behind it is the fact that it's just an entire metaphor for player-game interaction as a whole, and that the character itself is just an extension of the player. That's the point of the game.
I say that's a very depressing way to tell that. To explain that.
So
It's
wait, what was
incredibly
that theory?
simplistic, and when put together in such a good, like, concise way that they did it, it's very powerful and incredibly depressing to think about.
So the player, the red shirt guy, what's
The main character.
main character, so
Tiny boy.
he's an extension of us.
Yeah.
And then what happens once he gets to the blob? What is that supposed to be?
It's just him. That's, obviously this is definitely reaching, but it's still continuing the way it's supposed to be, and the player is the one controlling the entire actions and the outcome and stuff. But this is just the narrative that's set forth. It's really bizarre.
I read something I can't remember exactly what I read, but it was something about how it connected really well, and whoever explained it.
I remember
it was
you
like,
explaining this a little bit.
Yeah, and how it's an extension of the player. Man, I wonder if I can find it. Like, it was so, like, that could totally say that's what they were going
There's
for.
a lot of theories online, and just different kinds of, like, synopses that people have put together to kind of create this lore surrounding the game itself.
Just like the other games, because they never really explain what they
What
mean.
is-
You're talking about
Limbo.
Limbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually on sale right now, by the way. I think you can get it for like $1. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Go get
That's
it
cool.
immediately. Not sure when this is posted, but even if it's like $15, get it. It's gold.
But I mean, that's kind of like, it left like an impression on me. Not necessarily like the mechanics were like simplistic. It was easy to grasp. It was easy to understand.
Typical puzzle platformer.
Yeah, typical. But it was just like the actual story was what like had a lasting impact on me. That's
Exactly.
what got me.
Yeah. Well, the fact that you're even commenting on the fact that it has a story.
Yeah.
It's all subjective.
Yeah.
This story is what we created as a group when we were
That's
playing
true.
the game.
Which I like that aspect too.
It's create your own adventure at its bare bones at its very roots. The skeletal structure of create your own adventure with an animated backdrop.
Yeah.
God, I just can't believe that game. Like, you're going towards something this whole entire time. You don't even know what you're doing in the game. Like, you don't know the purpose of this game. You don't know what you're even supposed to do. There's nothing explained ever.
No.
And it just mind screws you in the end. What the
Yeah.
Like,
Because like up until
There's
that
so
point,
many-
you have somewhat of an idea,
yeah.
like that you developed in your head of what it is that's happening. Like it's sad and depressing. Like
The world is brutal.
Yeah,
it's
it's-
absolutely brutal.
yeah, and like even when you
And
die,
ruthless,
when you die, it's very realistic, I guess, accurate representation of how you would die in that particular situation in real life. Like your head would get splashed on that, like, or you would get drowned, and then it would be like, you would just drift off away or something like that. It's very accurate and like, okay, this is how it would happen.
Yeah.
But
People get shot with cattle prods and dragged into the air all the time.
the dogs like claw you
that's a
alive.
kind of stuff right with robots. I mean,
Exactly.
But it kills me,
You're
like
ready
that
for
ending
it.
just kills me, because then it's like, wow, like you have like you as a player playing this game, you escape all of that, and you continue to like you get away from that horrible stuff that's happening.
And the puzzles were great, too.
Yeah.
It's just the ending itself is weird, and I don't want to say anticlimactic, but it is on if without any proper thought and like
it doesn't
It's-
go out with a bang.
but it's what, that's what gives it so much power.
Yeah.
Is the fact that
'Cause
they can rely on this very, very
if it tied it
tiny
up with
gesture.
a nice neat bow, which I hate when most films do that in general, or games in general do that, then like it wouldn't have had as lasting of an impact on me, I don't think.
Yeah, and I know as far as just endings in game go in general, I know a lot of people who don't like it when a game doesn't have like a conclusive ending.
Yeah.
Which I mean, with
your
this,
typical Hollywood ending kind
Yeah.
of thing.
well, it's not necessarily that where it's just like they expect like some big kind of like you have the boss battle and then it rides off into the sunset kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where with this, this doesn't happen at all.
No.
Because you're just walking on like your 14 legs as a blob, confused as to what the hell's happening.
Yeah.
And then it ends.
Yeah.
So
And
do
then
you...
you're just kind of left
With like the
thinking about
sun
it.
with the sun shining on the blob, which I still think represents something, but I've thought about that like in the shower. I'm like, the sun, just that shot of like a blob sitting there on the beach and the sun shining on it.
Yeah.
When we've never seen sunshine in the entire game.
Yeah, all
So do
darkness,
you
all
like-
enclosed.
Yeah.
Do you like those types of games that doesn't have that ending, that
I don't know if I like them, but I don't think they're common enough. It's a good way to put
No,
it.
it depends on the game because, like, say with something like Uncharted, I don't want that kind of ending with Uncharted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it doesn't fit the game.
It's a start to finish narrative. Yeah.
Yeah, where could you still get that with The Last of Us though too? Where The Last of Us has that kind of ending like Inside has, where sure you have the whole big thing with David at the end of the game, but the actual ending is it's quiet. It makes you think about what just happened.
Yeah, but you knew what was going on in that whole story. That's such
kind of
the difference, though. But it had a narrative. And Inside did not. And you were confused the whole way. You were going towards something that whole time you didn't even know what you were doing.
Yeah, you're filling the blanks in. So.
I mean, that's like when I think of a game like that, I think of this is something we could possibly play, but like Knock Knock. I thought after I finished that game, I thought about that game. I don't know how long afterwards. I'm like, what did I just play?
That
and
how
did that mean?
Weird.
Yeah. That I don't know what it meant. Good. I tried looking stuff online. I don't even know if people came up with theories because it was like, what just happened?
Oh no,
what just happened? It was one of those games like literally you didn't know what you're doing, and then you finally finish it.
How long was it?
You could beat it in probably 4 hours.
I did it in a sitting, so I don't know how long I played it, but.
With mistakes, even 4 or 5 hours. It's not a long game, especially if you know what you're doing. But if you play that like with no indication of what's going to happen, you're going to be.
And this was a long time ago I played,
so you could get to the end of the game. And
I'm sure someone came up with something now, but when I first played it, everyone was like, "What? What is this?"
Yeah, it didn't make sense. There's quite a few instances of that. Another thing I think is really interesting about just the conclusiveness or lack thereof of Inside is. It doesn't go to credits. It doesn't go back to the main menu. It is a stable shot on the blob.
That's what it was like sunlight shining on it in a way that we hadn't seen throughout the entire game.
It was timeless. It was infinite. It was a loop.
Yeah, and you could leave it sit there
forever.
Basically, which was like, okay, what does that mean?
I thought credits played over it. Did they not?
Credits on the side. On the side. Yeah, then the credits played, but it would just sit there and just. It would be on that one shot for the entire time, presumably forever.
Was your whole goal to get it out, and that's why you didn't? Once you got it out of there, you don't control it anymore.
I would like. I would like to think
that's part of
because if you think about it, one of the theories which I pulled up is with the secret ending, which we didn't do, and this is a spoiler. But
this entire conversation
it is. Yeah. But you know what? But we didn't play the secret ending part, so
no, because it required a lot of like searching for items that we didn't know where to start to look for.
Yeah, exactly. I was completion.
But basically, what happens is there's this helmet connected to the floor, and if you like switch it off or shutting it down, if the boy like flicks the switch, it will cause the boy to go motionless and thus ends the game. And that's what people consider, it breaks the fourth wall by showing like I don't even know how to explain this. I read it, but it's so long the way they explain it.
It's like you're turning off the game.
It's the boy, the suggests that the boy hasn't been fighting towards the end of the game of his own violation, but rather because you have commanded him to do so.
Yeah,
so he doesn't have a mind of his own.
In complete honesty, you could even consider under that, guys, the entire him escaping means
you're controlling the boy. He has no mind of his own.
Well, yes, outside of this realm, outside of this world that's been created, he has no control over himself. But again, you could consider the ending that we got, which is the common first ending. I'm going to safely assume. That's the bad ending. Because you lost control. You didn't.
But you lose control in the other one too.
Of your own volition.
Of your own doing. It's your control.
You're right.
That's so much more depressive.
Yeah. Like you win, but you lost because you failed yourself.
God.
Yeah, because you had to join. Oh.
I almost wish. Yeah, this was like I almost wish you didn't say that. Now that hurts even more because I'm trying to like envision a way in which this could be happy. Because you have like sun shining on the blob.
There's no happiness at all.
And I'm like, there's no way to spend.
Happy moment in the entire goddamn game. Why would you think that thing would be?
Because I mean,
I like jumping out of the water.
For example, I mean, the pianist. I can think the pianist is like one of the most horrific films.
The what?
The pianist.
Okay.
Okay.
His penis. Most horrific thing.
Most horrific thing. No, but it's a World War II story about a Jewish piano player. One of the most horrible films I've ever seen. Well,
Not
I know.
but yeah.
I know.
But just like he was watching it going like, oh.
But like, but the ending is like, it's like it made me cry. Like no other film has really made me cry like that because it's like he finally gets free. He escapes from the German takeover of basically all of Europe or attempt to take over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ends up being a successful piano player at the end of the film. Like that was a very awesome, well done story where like the entire like 80% of the film was like horrible. So I'm like trying to think. I'm thinking of that. I'm like, okay, there's any way I could spend this to really be good at the end? But no,
not anymore.
I don't think so.
So wait, is the blob? So then I was reading on. I was like, okay, so what about the other ending? So it's saying the blob at that point is controlling you. So the reason why you don't have any more, you can't move at the anymore.
It is completely true. Yeah.
Because either it reaches its destination and you no longer have control of it, or broke from the fall, which I don't want to get to the break.
I think it has to do with the fact that you escaped that.
Because
the world that was created for you.
Because you were controlling the boy, and then you joined that blob. Mm-hmm. So now that blob is controlling you. And
well, you controlled the blob. The blob was completely controlled by you. The direction was very linear to the point where it was like you're going to go this direction.
So you have, so if you wanted to finish it though, and if you wanted to keep going, you had to go that way. So isn't it in that sense controlling you? You don't have an option. You have no options in that. So it's technically controlling the way you're going. It's controlling the way you're going.
Absolutely.
So the fact that you can no longer move with the sunlight, your favorite thing to think about.
Shit.
Well, it doesn't.
You can't control it anymore because it wasn't controlling you, and
I would imagine,
there's nowhere you can go.
I would imagine maybe if we read into that specific aspect of the game a little bit more, there was never sunlight in the game whatsoever.
No,
not once. Not once. Like, and then we end.
Well, do you think maybe because it reached its destination, that's why there's sunlight? It's finally where it needs to be.
Well, what reached its destination is the true question behind that.
The blob.
Is the blob the main focus?
What does that represent? What does the blob represent?
It's just really interesting insight because they thought about when people play games. What do? They just follow directions. They have no choice in a game. There's ways you can finish games. Mm-hmm. There may be multiple ways, but there's a way to finish it, and you're done. Mm-hmm. And this is like basically saying, games control you, and we're going to show you how that happens. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's how they might have thought about it. Like they're showing you a way that it's going to be controlled, and they didn't explain anything to show you that for that exact reason. Mm-hmm. Like that's how games are. And it's showing you like a different aspect
like such
of
a like microcosm of society. It's it's scary. But it's.
I don't know if I'm making sense.
Wow.
No, you're making perfect sense, but it's just making me more and more sad. That's the problem.
Do we need to add some alcohol to your drink? I just
come back and I'm like slowly.
Yeah, I don't know. Reading this, I'm not gonna read any of it out.
Oh, fuck it, because I came into this thing. I'm like, okay, you guys all are gonna think this is a happy ending, right? No.
Yeah, man. Reading this, I get.
That's not what we think.
It's like it's depressing, and I'm not gonna read it out loud because I'm terrible at reading things out loud. Apparently,
I'm not.
Today I am at least.
I'm not very good.
It's not happening. So, but yeah, go and read about it. It's just like
play the game and then make your own assumptions. I mean, if you're listening to this, 70% of it's been ruined for you, but the game's been out for a decent amount of time.
Play the game because it's an amazing game.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a fantastic game, and overall, I think it's probably one of my favorite games that I played this year so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I love reading the theories about it. I saw somebody have a theory that it represented cancer, and it was a red blood cell.
I remember you saying something.
It was just like I love what people can come up with with games like this. So I like when they're open like this because people are just creative, and I'm like, I don't know how
that's
people
what it's
do
all
that.
about. That's the basis
it's so great. It's great to read.
That's the basis of why video games are a thing in the first place, is from creativity, and it's taking it back to its roots with contemporary technology.
Yeah.